It's Tomb Raider Tuesday, lovelies! And what a Tomb Raider Tuesday it is. What a day to be alive. To feel the sun on your sweet face. The lush grass of Mother Earth between your plump little toes. Oh, can you hear the bird song, child? Like a chorus of beaked angels that live in trees instead of heaven. Tucked up in wee little beds of mud, twigs, and spit. What's that? We're not going to be able to relish any of those things. We're untold miles underground inside a hideous pulsating dread womb fleeing for our very lives from its abominable skinless children. Death shall surely find us. Some species of owl decorate their nests with corpses. Christ alive. Take it all back. What a terrible day. Worst day in living memory. I'd kill myself if I wasn't so sure that my soul would be sharing a room with Herman Goering in hell. Oh, thank you. Herr Fraggers, I am so hungry. I know, Herman. I am too. But there's nothing of you, Herr Fraggers. You are skin on bones. I require eating dinners to fuel the movement and operation of my enormous head alone. You're not having any of my hell rations, Herman. Please, Herr Fraggers, just a handful of the Beatles. No! Fuck off, you Nazi bastard. You don't even like the Beatles, you eat them to spite me. You're not having any of my fucking hell rations, shut up and go to sleep. I've once cleared the cockroach infestation at the Führer's bunker with nothing but a knife and fork. And as far as infestations go, this one should at least be in the running for some kind of endowment at the annual Exterminators Awards. Is that a thing? And if not, why not? Oh boy, I love this category. Most hornet stings to the ballsack in a single call-out. Once again, we've had to disqualify Naked Joe Johnson for obvious reasons. Yes, I know he's in the room. Try not to acknowledge him, even if you feel a suspiciously sweaty finger resting on the back of your neck. He'll move on. Don't enable his behaviour. Just keep your eyes on me. Eyes on me, sir! Don't panic! Eyes on me! It's just a scrotum. It's just a scrotum on the back of your neck. It will fly away soon. Just listen to my voice. We're all here with you. Eyes. Oh my god, he's pissing in your ear. Welcome back to Tomb Raider Tuesday, lovelies. We're in the Hive, the final and by far the most brutally difficult stage of the unfinished business expansion for the original Tomb Raider on PC, and sweet crayon chewing lobotomized Jesus. This is some tough shit to scrape off your wellies, this one. Like the previous stage, Atlantan Stronghold, the Hive has been designed to take absolutely no prisoners and damn near force you to lean on your medipack supply to grind you through to the end, but the key difference here is that Atlantan Stronghold did that mainly through environmental tricks and traps dinking away at your health. Some bubbling lava here, an inescapably painful drop there, a few spikes that you have to pull up out of, an underwater tunnel you'll probably drown a little bit in, just murdering you with the old death by 1,000 cuts approach, really. The Hive don't play like that. The Hive's got shit to do. And frankly, if you could call yourself a cab and get the fuck out of the Hive's bed, the Hive will text you in the week sometime and see what's good, sweetheart. Shaboy! The Hive! Ain't nobody gonna tie me down. So instead, it goes for the far more traditional route of pumping every goddamned inch of its wretched floor space with Atlantean warriors, centaurs, and flying monkeys, deliberately staging the combat in areas that are next to impossible to fight in or get away from without sustaining at least a fair amount of damage. There are 41 of the bastards flapping and galloping and flinging themselves around in here like they're having a ruddy good time listening to Jonathan Davis still whining about high school at a Korn concert, which doesn't give the Hive the highest enemy count of any stage up to this point in the series. That honour goes to Palace Midas with 43, followed by Temple of the Cat with 42, but do consider the stock in those arsenals. Palace Midas had bats, rats, gorillas, and a lion that was in the middle of some sort of catatonic breakdown and refused to move. Temple of the Cat was home to sterner stuff, but still made up its numbers with flimsy fauna that you could pick off in the water from the shoreline, like the crocodiles, or from the safety of a pillar or a ledge. In the Hive, you are up against 41 pure-blooded, pissed-off Atlanteans with nowhere to run, nowhere to backflip to while you smugly pop your oozes out and fill them with more holes than, fuck, I don't know, some sort of bear with 1,000 arseholes. Every encounter has the potential to go very wrong, very quickly in the Hive, and of course, the real son of a bitch at work here is that every Atlantean has the ability to shoot the shit out of you in one form or another. So even if you do manage to get some kind of fragile safety, they're just gonna whip out their terrifying squid penis guns and start firing ostrich teeth at you, or however their lunatic fucking weapon works. Or if they're a horseman, or horsemen, because there is a part in this where, like Tomb of Teoken, you're up against two of the trotting bastards at the same time, they'll let you know what's up in hell with non-stop barrages of flaming deadly balls. Balls for your chin, milady. Horseman insists. How fetching they'll look. Brrr. So, in addition to the previous stage, this is the only level in the entire Tomb Raider franchise to date that I have never passed without using a medipack. You would have to be playing on some next level shit to pull that off here. I mean, honestly, it's difficult enough to run most of Tomb Raider without resorting to a medipack. You know, that's why by the time we finished our run of the first game, which I did, managed to pull off without dying or healing up, even with a small one, even when things started looking incredibly fucking grim at the end there. That's why we wound up with over 100 of the damn things unused in our inventory. The developers throw you so many medipacks throughout the course of the adventure, even if you skip over every secret there is to skip over, because Tomb Raider is set up to hurt you. And I guess the first few times through, you'd find it to be an insanely frustrating experience where you're not given the opportunity to heal on the fly, and your attempts at exploration were cut tragically short by every surprise guerrilla attack you stumbled into. I mean, there's enough instances in that first game where a creature as achingly pathetic as a bat can fly all up in your shit and push you off a higher ledge to certain death, so it's already bad enough. But many of the stages in Tomb Raider just expect you to use the recovery items that you find to drag yourself through. You need to know the game inside fucking out like your own dick to even think about getting through without the shame of curing yourself. What's coming, what weapons to use on it, where your safe spots are, etc. Bugs me and it pisses me off that these are the only levels I've never managed to conquer unaided, but I mean, I personally don't find a huge amount of shame in it, because I'm playing like shit today, but as I mentioned in the last Tomb Raider Tuesday episode, even the best struggle with this one. Tartan Croft, best goddamn Tomb Raider player I've ever seen, spunks medipacks like chew sweets on the Hive, and honestly, I know the majority of you think I'm shit hot at Tomb Raider, but that dude pisses on my face so hard that it should be on some dark corner of Pornhub. Even he can't push through this fucking gauntlet of woe without a bandage to hold his guts in. So, to the casual player, this is going to kick your teeth down your throat and out your cock until it looks like you're firing one of those Atlantan fruitcakes body horror cannons whenever you go to take a leak. What the fuck am I going to do here? You know, where am I going to go? Fucking ludicrous. He just stands there waiting for you. Can't jump up there with him. Can't get away backwards, so just got to stand there and fucking take it, haven't I? My theory is that by the time the designers got around to putting this level together, they were sick to the back bloody teeth of Lara, just wanted her to suffer. This isn't even an extension of the main story. This is like an alternate timeline where Lara never escapes the Great Pyramid, slides down into the battle fortress of the Atlantan menace and gets torn apart by 40 of the screeching dick shrivelers. Have that, Lara! Eat red shit and die, you hoity-toity, la-di-da, horse-riding, mansion-owning, polo-playing, grave-robbing, pompous, uppity, top-heavy, back-flipping plunder bitch. If only. If only. In fact, if you want to know the one piece of actual, on-the-record advice that one of the level designers, Phil Campbell, offered Tomb Raider fans for this level, it's that you should use the level skip cheat. Yeah. He said that. Cheat like a bastard. But wait, oh no, silly you. You think you meant use the level skip cheat to pass this harrowing fucking area to the agonies of the flesh, didn't you? Oh child, Press your sweet face into my chest and pull thee not away until the horrors of this world are behind us. For your innocence is as fragile as precious China or Charles Xavier in the new X-Men movies. That motherfucker's always crying, isn't he? I don't rate those goddamn movies at all, I've got to tell you. The hype fucking mystifies me. I hate wearing watches, you know, never want one, never wanted one, hate everything about them. But good lord, when I was sitting through first class, caught myself trying to check one that wasn't there about 20 bloody times. Stop crying and train some freaks to fucking do something, dipshit. Why does every new reboot on every franchise have to start with a boring goddamned origin story? Every fucking time. If I have to see Bruce Wayne's parents die on screen, just one more fucking... Between the two of them, Thomas and Martha Wayne have had more chalk outlines than a fucking playground. I swear to... No, I'm not getting into it tonight. Tomb Raider. I swore to myself I was going to talk about Tomb Raider in my Tomb Raider video. And by God, that's what I'm going to do. So no, when Phil Campbell said, you should use the level skip cheat, he didn't mean to beat the stage. He meant to make it fucking harder. Because if you level skip in this game, it empties out your inventory system, just leaves you with your pistols. Phil, I think I speak for many of us when I suggest that you break your own ankles, cram both your feet into your rectum, grab your knees, and then just gently roll into the sea. Go, Phil. Take your hatred and just roll into the great oceans with it. The land doesn't want you here anymore. Well, I'm breathing my fucking dying breath here. Time for another pick-me-up. There we go. You know what? Here's another level design choice that pisses me off about fail. Stacking switches. Clumping a whole bunch of switches or keyholes together in one tiny area. Is that fucking necessary, man? Like, you got 2 for 2 doors in completely separate areas off the stage, and the other 2 release a couple of mutants up top. 1 each, 1 per mutant. You made it, Jeffrey. You got your own damn switch and everything. Go call your mama and let her know Skinless Jeffrey just came good. Then you get the hard cut to Natla's phone ringing in the pocket of a bullet-riddled jacket back up in the Great Pyramid. She ain't there. Mama must be baking them cookies I love again. What a fucking tragedy. In fact, it's even more messed up when you consider that all of these Atlanteans that you're harvesting down with lead are basically confused newborns. They just hatch straight out their eggs. First thing they see is some crazy-eyed bitch machine gunning the womb goo out of their eyes. Of course they're gonna be upset. It's like delivering a baby and then some motherfucker bursts in and slaps it in the mouth. Laura's a goddamn child murderer. I mean, we already knew that, of course. We already sent that kid on the skateboard off to hell in a hail of bullets back in the first game. What was he, like 10? 10 with crazy hormones? We all know how Natla liked to fuck about with genetic engineering back when she was, you know, more alive. There's actually something of a fan theory that Skateboard Kid is actually Natla's son, which would at least offer some sort of feeble explanation as to why she's gone all out and had a skate park built for him in the middle of an industrial mine. You're coming to work with Mummy today, son? Babysitter hasn't shown up. Must still be trying to get to grips with those new wings I grew. On her lungs! Oh! What a riot. Here, son, take this massive injection of fuck you hormones I ripped out of a gorilla's ballsack. Oh boy, I'm gonna be like Donkey Kong. You sure ain't, son. You sure ain't. And then a few hours later, his voice is broken at the speed of sound. His balls have dropped so hard that his body's panicked and grown another eyebrow on his dick. And his scheduled teenage interest in women and extreme violence have arrived cataclysmically at exactly the same time and growth rate. There's no joy in killing anything in this game. There's nothing that truly deserves to die here as the wild animals defending their territory and probably their young. Larson just doesn't have the fucking IQ count to be held responsible for anything he says or does. All apart from the cowboy. Fuck that cowboy. No, I don't blame the Atlanteans, nor should you. What's the first thing most of them do when they see you? Shriek and jump all over you, all up in your face. What do you think they're trying to do? Like what any damn baby tries to do after it's born. Get some bloody food down its face. They hatch, they look up, see Lara's grotesquely swollen rack and just lunge for it, thinking mummy's come packing the juice box. They don't know what the claws do yet, do they? They don't know that clambering all over you like an affectionate Labrador made of knives is going to do you wrong. They don't know nothing. Some of them are born half horse. Try figuring that shit out when you're 2 minutes old. Lara doesn't care. Lara doesn't like kids from any species. I bet if you backed her into a corner and got her to babysit for you, you'd come back and your kid would be trying to cook itself a tin of dog food with a flashlight while Lara's thumping around upstairs in your attic looking for the fucking spear of Longinus. There's a lot of shit to pick up down here. You're gonna need it. In a blindingly original move, the Hive's final fiendish challenge is to examine its track record so far, carefully consider that hurling walls of Atlanteans at you hasn't brought it the best results, and after some strenuous deliberation and a few frantic phone calls, it decides, fuck it, throw the rest of them at her. It breaks the fucking level. This stage is meant to have something like 50 enemies in it, alright? And you'll see this properly when we get right to the end of it in a little while. 50 or so enemies, which would make it an absolute murder fest, but to quote Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park, they were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should. Because the missing 9 or so Atlanteans are in the Hive. They just can't spawn because the developers exceeded the limits of the damn coding, so they just vanish inside those giant incubator pods, mostly in one room at the finale. That's pretty fucking funny because, if I may, they stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as they could, and before they even knew what they had, they patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now, BAM! They're selling it. They want to sell it. And they did, and they were wildly successful. And now there exists 2 albums of music by Lara Croft that I subjected you to in the last Tomb Raider Tuesday episode. For this, I am sorry. I'd been drinking, I freely admit that, and I'd had Lemsip. More than one. Maybe more than the recommended daily amount, who can say? I was clearly out of control. You remember the movie Gremlins where you can't feed them after midnight? I convinced myself when I was little that the reason they had those warnings on the back of medication boxes telling you not to take more than X amount of whatever a day was because otherwise your back would flare up like an abused mogwai and you just start popping out evil clones of yourself all over the place. Now, it wasn't until I tried to use this theory to start my own army that I understood that much of the literature on the back of those boxes is actually to stop your kidneys from melting. There, in a nutshell. That's why my dad thought I was gay for 5 years. Well, you know, son, I'm sure I don't need to give you this talk. A boy of your age has probably already experimented, shall we say? Sure have, Dad. Hearing you loud and clear. Well, good. Yeah, I thought I was Gremlins. Turns out I'm not, Dad. Turns out I'm not Gremlins at all. Sure got spooky as a motherfucker in here all of a sudden, didn't it, lovelies? Behold, some sort of, I don't know, bedroom. Are they asleep? Do they nap standing up like big old fucked up cows from Silent Hill? How much is a pint of milk in Silent Hill? About 3 souls and a bucket of your dead wife's teeth? Well, if you want the answer to those questions and more, make sure you tune into my new Silent Hill series beginning on Tuesday the 21st of February, Pyramid Head Victim Support Group, where much like the recent Resident Rampage, we'll be blowing through the whole damn franchise one entry at a time and reliving some classic, mortifying moments, like some real knicker pissers in there. Hey, you remember when that cat jumps out at you from the locker? Man, what an irrational hatred of all animals everywhere that lit in me. Can't own pets anymore. All it takes is the merest mention of Silent Hill, and survival instinct kicks in and I adopt a first strike policy that rarely ends well. I'm not a fighter. I fled from a dock once. Don't worry about the series name. It's not binding or exclusive. If you have yet to be sexually assaulted by Pyramid Head, you're still welcome to come along, tune in, and pick up some helpful tips for when he does finally track you down, drag you across the floor by your ankles, and dry humps the road to heaven out of your hindquarters. He's quite insistent, but it also pays to remember that he is just a figment of your imagination, born out of your own personal guilt. It's cathartic to confront it, really. It truly makes you a better person, I feel. Because what would make you less likely to swipe a pen from the post office, or illegally download the new X-Man movie, even though I already told you it sucked, and the unskippable intro on the DVD that you obviously haven't got told you not to? Your own useless conscience? Or Pyramid Head, grinding his barely concealed pyramid genitals up against you like you're his Jay-Z, and he's your netherworldly Beyonce. Both crazy in love, shooting the video, run out of money. Fuck it, let's do it in this grimy apartment block. A man made of cruel geometry humping you. It's like we're back to playing Virtua Fighter. Let's not be. Most of the squares on the ground in this room contain triggers to wake the Atlantans, but I always found this to be the safest method of getting through it while keeping most of your blood inside your body and running for 100%. You don't actually have to step on the triggers, you can jump over them too and they'll activate, so leaping to each corner from the central square here will cover enough ground to rouse all of them from their beauty sleep eventually. Alright, here we go. Your final big section now, which is some sort of hatchery. I missed the door by about 15 feet. What the fuck? Keep your eyes on the pods for what we talked about earlier. Some of these poor fuckers can't spawn. A moment of silence for those that never spawn. Just a moment. I'm just asking you to stop chewing for 1 minute. God damn it. I love delicious biscuits too, but frankly, I'm starting to think that you respect biscuits more than members of your own species. That sounds an awful lot like something unnatural, mister. And that makes my friends Mr. Petrol and Mr. Lighter incredibly nervous. Fuck alive, you sneaky little Pete. What do you suppose was the first grave that Lara Croft ever robbed? I'm gonna guess some sort of family pet, possibly a neighbour's pet, not a dead neighbour. You don't start with people, do you? This kind of sick obsession grows from small beginnings and careful kindling. I personally have had very poor experiences with the burial sites of my own pets. When I was a kid, I had a guinea pig that I buried. I mean, it died first. I wasn't building up to massacring a high school or anything, and I accidentally exhumed it with a badly launched firework 2 nights later. I found one of its legs stuck to the side of the shed, somewhat crispier than it had been when first interred. And it didn't really hit me at first what had happened. I thought poor Bippin had tried making a legendary escape from hell and had fallen at the final hurdle, but the one after that, a cat I had for years, wrapped in a towel, stuck in a shoebox and buried at the bottom of the garden, again, post-death. Don't worry yourself watching this while you're pretending to do your coursework in your homeroom. I'm not walking down the sports field in full body armour or anything. Buried her nice and dignified like. Good and deep too. I didn't want to repeat Bippin's mistake on anything else. And I swear to God, as lovely as my cat was, and always had been, it must have been out of penance for living a past life as Joseph fucking Mengele or something, because the earth around her grave, when completely dry and cracked, nothing would ever grow again anywhere near it, and other cats seemed to be daring each other to come into the garden and shit on it for the sheer amount of scat we found peppered around the place. I like to think Muffin resurrected like Count fucking Dracula every few nights. There was some sort of feline Belmont clan tasked with stopping her. I bet I missed some battles while I was sleeping. Almost done now. Almost there. I didn't keep track of how many medipacks we used this time around, but after the first one, it doesn't really matter, does it? 1 is too many. 1 is scorn, 1 is defeats. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Right, pop open the back door here, and we're 1 short slide and a swim away from freedom. Or at least linking up with a canon story cinematic from the first game. Yahoo! Oh no, not empty fucking eggs littered over from incompetent level design. Truly, the Hive saves its greatest terrors for last. But that's it. That's your lot. Unfinished business is now irrefutably finished business, which I think we can all agree sounds a lot less troubling. Your next Tomb Raider Tuesday is a doozy, lovelies. Join me again on Tuesday the 7th of February for a triple build to open our war against the next title in the series, Tomb Raider 2, where I'll show you Lara's new pad, surprise dinosaurs, and the motherfucking mafia. It's a date, lovelies.